Good morning, my friends. My name is Maroun. I'm 67 years old. I am a U.S. citizen, naturalized. I'm married, no children. I worked, all my life in the auto industry, and I'm welcoming you here in California, USA, to talk to you about the most misunderstood man in history, Jesus. Okay, before I go any further, let me tell you what I'm gonna tell you has nothing to do with conventional thought about Jesus. It is something that is not based completely, on the regular book. A lot of things have been written, about Jesus. A lot, So after consulting it, I found out, that certain things, because they have been misunderstood, they have been just set aside, and everybody start relying, on the traditional thinking about Jesus. Okay, so my main focus talking about Jesus is based primarily on an apocryphal gospel called the Gospel according to Thomas. And as we go into all the details of that particular gospel, you're going to find out a different Jesus that I just happen, to have come to love, maybe to an abnormal level, and you're going to know why as we proceed. So, again, welcome to the talk on Jesus, and let's get started. Okay. First of all, as you can see here, one of the first verses, that I wanna introduce to is, "Let him who seeks cease not to seek until he finds." So right here at the beginning, you notice, that Jesus, is recommending actually that you actually go in pursuit of knowledge. You have to go and seek actually anything. It's not, he didn't say, seek the truth or seek this or that. No, that's it. Let him who seeks cease not to seek until he finds. Actually, it doesn't matter, if you're going to find it or not, but it's just, the idea that you have to always keep, looking for whatever. Everything that is in front of you is bits of information. So you just kind of go and get the information, see? And you will see how important that is, when we get, to the first chapter on the pursuit of knowledge. So we continue. Another verse. Jesus said, "A donkey who turns a millstone did 100 miles walking. When it was loosed, it found that it was still at the same place. There are men who make many journeys but make no progress anywhere." Okay, here, you can see, that actually this is a sad condition of man, really. Because, after, he spends time, living and building and, actually doing things, he finds out at the end, that he's as ignorant of his condition as at the beginning. But really, when you start thinking about it, he thinks, that, hey, listen, why should I go and look for anything, because I'll come to a point where I have a limited sense of perception. I won't understand everything, you know, that I see in front of me. So why even trying? You know, I just stay, you know, the way I am, and that's it. Okay, this is a normal way of looking at things. But what the man, you know, forgets is that throughout his life, you know, he has had to survive. That means he has had to open up to learn things in order to survive. So he actually, sometimes, you know, he opened up to learn, sometimes, you know, he opened up to learn more. So at different phases in his life, he came to the realization, you know, that he needed, you know, some more knowledge, you know, in order, you know, to survive. And this, and when he gets to this point, you know, when he gets to be stable in his life, all of a sudden, you know, he shuts everything out, and he thinks, you know, that that actually what he knows is enough. But we get a little bit further. Look at this now. Unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom. So here we are, you know, with everything we think we know that is enough. Jesus, you know, starts talking about certain things that are new to us. For example, what is the kingdom? Now he's talking about a kingdom. Unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom. Which means that the way we think, you know, we know everything, apparently, you know, it's not enough, because if I ask you now, you know, what is the kingdom, you ain't going to be able to answer it. Why? Because, you know what, you need more information. So to get that information, you have to look it up like little children. That means, you know, we all know, you see, what little children do. They always come to you and they ask you. And when you answer them, they say, why? And then when you ask them again, you answer another time, you know, they say why. And they keep saying why and why and why, because, you know, they want, you know, more and more knowledge. You see? So to understand, you know, what the kingdom means, you know, we have to look for things the way children, you know, ask for things. In other words, you know, we cannot feel, you know, that we know everything, that we don't have to ask anymore, you know. No, you have to keep on going, and everything, you know, everything you're gonna find out, you know, well, you're gonna see what you can do with it, you know. Okay, we go to number 3. If you do not seek the kingdom through knowledge, you will not be able to find it. That is why I tell you, be alert and do not stray. See? So, to be able to know the kingdom, you know, there, you know, the recommendation is that we keep on looking. And if you do not look for knowledge, you will not be able to find it. And then you come in and say, well, how are we going to find it? Well, whoever asks, it will be given to him, and whoever knocks, it will be open to him. That means that, you know, to be able to find something, you go and ask everybody, you know, okay, what is this? What is that? Then, you know, we go and, of course, you know, we go to college, you know, to learn more. And then, of course, you know, we ask our professors here and there, you know, what we can do. And little by little, you know, we build up, you know, a kind of like we build up a baggage full of knowledge. Don't make any difference what it is now, you know. It's just bits of information, you know, that just keep coming in. You know? Okay, so here we go. He keeps on saying now, become simple as doves, yet wise as serpents, because the mightiest seducer is the learned man who by erring has caused a world to err. And that's true, because when you start, you know, going and looking for everything, you're going to start asking everybody. Some people, you know, will not hesitate, you know, to give you the wrong information. So you have to start, you know, kind of balancing, you know, what is really a representation of reality, and what is just, it might be a lie, it might be something that is untrue, it might be something, you know, that you know, you need to discuss further. You know, something that you have to look a little deeper. So here, you know, he is asking you to kind of be cautious, and then everything, you know, that people give you, you have to be willing, you know, to not only understand it, you have to be able, you know, to measure its accuracy and continue. You know, that's what Jesus calls, you know, the pursuit of knowledge. It is not just getting one piece of information and then say, okay, that's enough. No, you keep going and bringing factors in and bringing here and there, and little by little, you see, you have so much knowledge, you know, that you're gonna come to a point where certain you know, you're gonna start, you know, reaching conclusions, and that's what he gets, you know, into number 6, for example. The 6th saying, say, how numerous are the trees, yet not all of them bear fruit. How numerous are the fruits, yet not all of them are good. And then how numerous are the sciences, yet not all of them are useful. So you see, you have a lot of things, and you have captured a lot of bits of and pieces of information. But what is important, what is relevant, and all that, you know, you don't know. You see, so here we have, look at number 7 here. Man should be like a wise fisherman who cast his net into the sea. He drew it up from the sea full of small fish. Among them he found a large good fish. So that wise fisherman, he threw all the small fish back into the sea and chose the large fish without regret. And that's exactly what happens, you know, out of everything that you gather as bits and pieces of information. Some are important, some are not important, some are relevant, some are not relevant. So the small little bits of information that you get, you know, that are not relevant, what you do, you kind of set them aside, and you hold on, you know, to the things that are important. Okay? So that's you know, it turns out to be like a fishing trip. You know, every time, you know, you go and look for something, yeah, you just don't stop, you know, until, you know, you get to a point, you know, where it satisfies your curiosity one way or the other. So this is again, you know, something that you ought to remember, you know, about Jesus. Look at the way he talks. You know, everything, you know, is related to the environment. Now, this is something that I tell you, you know, before we continue. So let's continue here. Be skilled money changers. That's another advice, you know, from Jesus. What does the money changer do? You know, you give him some money, you know, and then he looks at it. Sometimes he bangs, you know, the coins, you know, on the table, you know, to see how they sound, and he knows, you know, what money is good and what is a forgery, what is something bad, what is something, you know, with value or without value. So what happens, you know, is that he retains something that is good, and he rejects, you know, something that is bad. And that's exactly what the money changers do. And that's exactly the way, you know, we have to do, you know, with the bits of information, you know, that we gather, you know, as we pursue knowledge, you know, in our journey, you know, through earth. Okay, let's go now to number 9. Here, you know, before, you know, I go any further, let me stop just 1 second to tell you what is the purpose of this talk. The purpose of the talk is to pinpoint certain things that have gone by unnoticed. So, first, we will show that Jesus, you know, when he advised us, you know, to pursue knowledge, he is actually recommending practices that are very similar to modern science. Then we'll show you how Jesus, you know, have drawn a model of man in his environment. Now, I repeat here, be very careful. It is not man and his environment. It is man in his environment. There is a big difference, and as we go into the theory, you will see why, you know. And then we'll, of course, you know, we'll finish, you know, with the many implications that will result as a as a consequence, you know, of adopting, you know, the model that Jesus has drawn. Okay, now let's continue now with number 9. Blessed is he who has known things, has brought the heavens down to earth, and has taken earth and has raised it up to the heavens, thus causing the environment not to exist. Okay, this is a how can I explain this? Here, you know, you have the power of thinking. The power of thinking, you know, when you start, you know, okay, out of all the bits and pieces of information, you know, that you got, then you start playing with them. You start, you know, saying, okay, what if this does not exist? What if in heaven, you know, there is no more solar system? What if on earth, you know, there is 2 natural dams instead of 1, and so on and so on. So you play, you know, you play with all the information that you have, you know, and then when you get to number 10, you say, know what is in your sight, and what is hidden from you will be revealed to you. So when you start playing, you know, with everything, you know, that you have in your hand in terms of information, what happens, you know, is that you're going to start knowing, you know, what is in front of you. In other words, you're going to start understanding your environment better. Okay? And you will see that as you get into the understanding of the environment, you will see a lot of things that you weren't seeing before. So your knowledge, you know, is going to be increased, you know, but that exercise in how to deal with all that bits and pieces of information, and that power to think was exactly at the gist, you know, of Einstein's famous Gedanken experiments, and he did exactly that. Every time, you know, he wanted, you know, to solve a physical problem, so in his mind, you know, he started playing, you know, with this. Okay, what if we have energy here, and then we have a planet on this side, and then, you know, the way the planet goes around, you know, the universe, it exerts an influence on other, so, you know, small solar systems, or on other planets, and so on, in his head. Okay? And that's, you know, his power to think. So, to recapitulate, you know, what we just done, first, you know, you go into editing and choosing. Like a good fisherman, it's a fishing trip. You go and start choosing certain things. And after you choose them, you start working with them, you know, in your mind, you know. Blessed is he who has known things, have brought things up to the heavens, and have brought things down to earth. And then you start thinking about what to do with this, and what are the consequences of that kind of thinking. See? And then after that, you know, you start getting, you find connections, you start between, you know, bits of observation, and you start, you know, putting a theory in, you know, at least, you know, in your mind, you know, in an abstract manner. That's what the Gedanken experiment is. You know, it is an abstract reasoning. And then this is not enough. What you're going to do then after that is try to see if that theory that came out of the Gedanken experiment, if it's true or not. That means, can we try to, you know, by putting it into practice, you know, is it gonna actually match our expectations or our conclusions, you know, that we thought, you know, we are gonna get to? That's where, you know, you come to number 11. You know, knowledge is like a man who wishes to kill a powerful man. He drew the sword in his house and stuck it into the wall in order to know whether his hand would carry through. And that's exactly what it is. He wanted to do something, and then he wanted to know if he can do it. So he goes, and puts, his expectations, to trial to see if, he's going to be able to do it. And that's the same thing. When you have bits and pieces of information, you start, finding relationships between them, and then you start thinking about a theory that put them all together, and then that is not enough. You have to go back to the lab, to see if your predictions, can be supported by observation. Okay, so now let's go into a summary of what we just said. Jesus would describe the seeking of truth as a relentless pursuit of knowledge, whereby certain facts observed and gathered become isolated on account of their relevancy. These facts are then subjected first to an extensive thinking process that results in the formulation of certain probabilities, and then to controlled situations that put those probabilities to trial in order to determine whether they could be supported by observation. So, this is the first summary. Now, as you can see from the summary, what Jesus said so far is in total agreement with the principle of modern scientific investigation. Okay, now if that is true, then the conclusions that Jesus arrived at should in no way differ from the conclusions of the scientific community. So here, let us examine a few. Look at number 12. Through knowledge, man rids himself of a plurality in favor of a unity. And that is self-evident, You go and when you know, so what happens, you find relationships and connections, between different bits of information. So what you do, you hang on to that, and then the small little things that are not relevant, you just take them and set them aside. Okay, this is, you have a lot of bits of pieces of information, but you are focusing on just a few that have a relationship between one another. So what you do, from a plurality of bits of pieces of information, you kind of go into a unity that actually connects things that are similar in either influence or similar in characteristics or similar in whatever actually puts them together. Okay, then this is, as you know, it's a bit of science right there. Look at number 13. If you ponder over the world, how long it has existed, and how much longer it will outlast you, you will realize that your existence is but of a day, and your sufferings of but 1 hour. And everybody knows, that the scientific community puts the age of the world of billions and billions of years, So really, when you compare our lives, but actually our individual life, to the universe as a whole, it comes to about what? Actually nothing, really. Look at that, he says it's just by a day. And all the sufferings, what we complain about during all our lives, if you compare it to the universe, it's not even 1 hour. And then, look at number 14, and think about it very, very, very well, because look at what he says here. That which is weak is saved by means of that which is strong, and they become a single thing. Now, that which is weak is saved by means of that which is strong. So think about it when you read it. Think about masses. Okay, that means that which has a weak mass or a small mass is saved by means of that which has a strong mass, and they become a single thing. So, think about it again. A strong mass actually is saving a weak mass and they become a single thing. Well, what do you think, if you say it like this? A weak mass is saved by means of a strong mass, and they become a single atom.